Hi there, welcome to Lovin Sheila the podcast. This is what I'm going to call a catch up because there's sometimes I just want to come to you all and I just want to share and talk to you just like girlfriends do. There's been a little bit more structure than I'm used to or even that I'm comfortable with. So I've been looking at some old Lovin Sheilas when I was just basically, shooting from the hip. I'm not saying I'm going to do that again, but I want to have some time with you where I can just share with you from so many different aspects. So June was really fun. It was really eventful here on the show because I got to meet some new people. I got to meet Ama Karikari and also Andrew and Kiana Joyner. And we had some great talks, very interesting talks. I think I had a real ball chatting with them. And Ama is full of energy and it was a great time talking about a serious subject, which was abuse, but actually bringing some levity to it and some girlfriend vibes to it. And just to let you know that there is a community of supporters who get it, who understand how could it happen to me. Because Ama, Harvard educated woman, attorney, and she's had the experience dealing with the silent treatment, and she has gone on to write a book, Silence to Soaring, and she's taken that pain and, as I've said before, repurposed her pain into helping other women soar, and she's created a community of women who soar. And so I admire her work. I think she's a fabulous woman, and I actually have every intention of soaring with her and joining this Women Who Soar group, our Sisters Who Soar. So that was really exciting for me, and I watch the episode all the time because it's enlightening, it's refreshing, it's informative, and it's what we need because though we've had pain, though we've experienced some things that we wish we hadn't, we have moved forward. And as we move forward, we're telling our stories to form communities and to let folks know that there are people who support them. Please be clear, I'm not here to talk about some of the bad things that I've experienced, to dwell on those things. I am very much healed and over it. Was it disappointing? Absolutely, it was disappointing, but I have moved on and started to build a new foundation of life. And I'm taking this podcast forward with me, but at the same time, I can't lose sight of where I've been, and that's what made me want to go further into these topics because I think we lose ourselves in what we need to do to survive. And we don't have time to think about what makes us soar, what makes us thrive, and what we actually want to do. And so having these conversations and dealing with some of the pain that we've had to go through and we've experienced, and even to see us laughing, bringing some levity to it, just to let you know that you don't always have to be in pain. You don't always have to be sad. You can soar, you can rise above it. And that's what the conversation with Ama was for all of us, something to show that we are empowered and we can have our experiences. And though we have our experiences, we can come back and we can talk about it and lift other women up. I hope you took that from the Ama conversation. And then when I talked to Kiana and Andrew, something that had always been very important to me, and I hadn't talked to you all about it, but financial compatibility. And I don't know that I had it completely right from what I understood. But so many times, I don't know if we get caught up in the trappings of this world and we want the big house, the nice car, 7-figure incomes, and all those things. I don't know what it is we want. I know for me, I've just wanted a comfortable lifestyle. In my marriage, one of the positive things that we had was a comfortable lifestyle, and something I've tried to maintain as a single woman. And so anyone who came into my life, I wanted to make sure they were positively impacting it in every way, and that included financial, meaning we were equally yoked and we were trying to do the same things and wanted the same things and had the same means to do those things. They gave me a different perspective on financial compatibility and understanding the relationship that whomever you're involved with has with their money. If they are a spender, a saver, if they are always doing the F it kind of thing and just spending all their money and not really thinking about the future, or if money is like a funnel, it's as soon as it comes in, it's out. So really looking at that to see if we're financially compatible is a change of perspective, but it's something that I think that we have to, and what I wanted to get at with Kiana and Andrew is it's something I think that we have to tap into, because if we don't look at that early on and don't recognize how compatible we are in those ways, it will rear its ugly head down the line. It will become a bit of a landmine. So it's better to know where we are, like Andrew said, to have the conversation and the expectation up front so that we don't have to get 1 year into the relationship and realize we are not like-minded. We cannot blend this. It's just not going to work. So that's good to have those conversations. I always say on the show, real talk for the whole woman. All these things matter. Our mental health matters. Our healing matters. Our finances matter. Our health matters. Our pulchritude, our physical, our beauty matters. These are all the things that make us feel good about ourselves. So with that, there's a lot of work we do. Not only do we work, do we make a living and raise children, but we have to take care of ourselves. And like Kiana said, self-care isn't optional. But I do want to say this about self-care, because throughout my marriage and raising my child and working, my self-care to me was, yes, I did therapy intermittently. But when I was really getting into my self-care, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get a massage. I'm going to get a facial, things like that. And I was really doing things, beautification. But I don't think my skincare, I don't think that my massage is really the self-care. I think that tuning in to where I am and what I need, and if I'm being present, that's my self-care. I think understanding us and who we truly are and what we need, and responding to that with care and with love and with grace and compassion is self-care. It's really recognizing what our underlying needs are and giving us space to care for those. And that, for me, that would be, and I didn't look that up anywhere, that's what I feel self-care is, because you can do all those, I'll use that word again, trappings. You can do everything to make yourself feel beautiful. You can get your hair done, your nails done, your skin care, you can do your makeup, and yet you cannot be cared for. So let's not just get caught up with the exterior, but let's go deeper inside and make sure that we're caring for those things, because they will come up. When I first started this podcast, when I really first started my healing, I was always talking about excavating things that I had discovered, because I had suppressed them for so long that it had to be excavated. It had to be uncovered, because I was not in tune with that. And I wasn't in tune with that because I wasn't taking care of myself. And so that's what I would encourage all of us to do, is be present. Like I had the episode, tune in and be present. Tune into you. Tune into what's going on. How do you feel? How is this behavior making you feel? What are your responses? Is it fight, flight, freeze, or the new one that we learned, fawn? And for me, that was mine, fawning, because I know that I'm capable of quite a few things. So I was like, oh, I can do that. That's light work. I can do that. I can do that. But no. What do I need? There are a lot of things that I can do, but what do I need? So I had to show up and respond to my needs and hold other people who wanted to be in my life accountable for that. And I didn't always do a good job at that. And so I had to learn it. And I'm still learning it. I'm learning to see people for who they are. So many times, no matter who it was, whether it was a familial relationship, whether it was a romantic relationship, I saw them for who I wanted them to be. I omitted the flaws and the character issues, and I saw how much I loved them and wanted to cover them, because love covers a multitude of sins. And that applies to every relationship, whether it's your child, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. Love covers a multitude of sins. That's what real love does. But at the same time, just because it's covered doesn't mean that you have to act as if you don't know. You still need to know who the person is that you are dealing with. And that's one thing that I'm learning, regardless of my feelings, just to see clearly. And I'm taking the rest of this year to really do that and reevaluate my relationships, my friendships, the roles people play in my life, because it can be damaging or it can be very uplifting. But we have to take a good look without the rose-colored glasses, without the fairy tale, without romanticizing things. And so I found that it's high season that we take a good look at all of our relationships, how they work, how they fit, who sees you, and making sure you also see them. And seeing me would also be seeing my flaws and knowing if that works for you. And me, likewise, seeing you, seeing your flaws and character deficits, and knowing if that fits into my life. So those are some things that I'm working on, because like I told Kiana and Andrew, there's always room for growth. No matter how healed you are, there's always more to do. I'm not perfect. We're not perfect. We have work to do. We have growth areas. I'm growing. I started off this podcast and I was reading The Purpose-Driven Life, and I lost it. And I was talking about how I couldn't find the book. I was reading it. I lost it. It's still lost. I don't know where it is. I abandoned that. I was watching an old episode 3, and I was talking about that. But since then, I've been doing better, and I've read a few books. And right now, I am reading The Let Them Theory. And actually, I feel like I have done a decent job at let people do what they do. I'm working on the next part of that, which is let me. I think I've somewhat implemented it, but it needs to be expanded, because the let me is the part where I take more responsibility for my actions, my behavior, more importantly, my response. People are going to do what they are going to do. They are not me. They have their own motivations and whatnot. My place is to allow them that space to do exactly what they're going to do, but at the same time, govern myself accordingly and make moves that are appropriate for me. And so that's what, if I were going to give you a cliff notes of the 60 pages that I read so far, acknowledge that people are going to do what they're going to do. You can't control that. And I found the most pain in my life has come from situations that I tried to control, that I tried to manipulate. Even when I mentioned fawning earlier, it was because I wanted to control the atmosphere. If I did all of these things, you would be you'd be reasonable. And you being reasonable allowed me to have some modicum of peace. So I tried to control that. But it's coming to a place where I realize what I can control and what I can't control. I'm sitting with that right now. There are a lot of things I can't control. And so I'm not interested in trying to. I'm not interested in trying to control how someone treats me. If they treat me well, they treat me well. If they don't, then they're going to have a back seat somewhere far, far away from me. I can't control it either way, because people are going to do what's in their heart. And it's always good when folks show you their heart, because then you know who you're dealing with. But once they do what they do and you relinquish control, you do have control over your actions, over your responses. And so that's what I want to focus more on, is what am I doing? What are you doing with your life? How are you getting to the next level? How are you improving your relationship? How are you improving yourself? How are you growing? How are you making more money? Whatever it is that I want to do, what am I going to do to get there? What am I going to take accountability and responsibility for? That's how I'm going to get to the next level in my constant pursuit of happiness. Now, in July, we have more guests coming, another attorney, really people from fields that seem far-fetched, but what I found is we have a common denominator. We've all had to take a healing journey. We all had to fall in love with ourselves. We all had to work at loving our life, and we all had to take ownership and creativity to do just that. That's the exciting thing about this life that we are creating. Dr. Cloud, I would say, creating the life we want. And Dr. Cloud, I noticed she says, creating the life you want to live. Sounds good. I like it. But we all have come from all these different places, and we're creating the life that we want, or creating the life that we want to live, and sharing some tools, some things that we think are best practices to getting where we want to get. And so I'm enjoying talking to my guests, but I'm also enjoying these opportunities that I have just to talk with you, to catch up on life. It's summertime, it's hot outside, I'm planning trips, going to concerts, going to comedy shows, just trying to enjoy this life that I've been blessed to live and to improve it daily. And so I would encourage all of us just to make the most of every day. It's a new opportunity to create every single day. So let's just move the needle forward every day. If you're in pain, if you're healing, if you're going through something, just know every day you're getting further and further away from it, or you're getting further along in it. And just don't stop. Be resilient. Stay the course. Don't give up. Believe in yourself. That's one thing I can encourage you. Being this little girl born in Watts to unwed parents, growing up in Inglewood with a single mom, barely finishing high school, going on to junior college, graduating from a 4-year university, becoming an executive at a low-level executive at a Fortune 500 company, retiring while I still am young enough to enjoy my life to the fullest. If there's anything I can tell you, is take advantage of every new day, every new opportunity, and believe in yourself, because the things that I have seen, the things that I have done were not things that were imagined by the little girl growing up in Inglewood. Far surpassed that. So I encourage you, keep dreaming, keep believing, hoping, keep grinding, do what you need to do to get to the next level. Do what you need to do to create the life that you want. I am rooting for you. And I'll tell you this, it starts with loving on you, trusting in yourself, and believing. So love, trust, and believe. Thank you for catching up with me. I look forward to seeing you on the next Lovin Sheila. Until then, take care of yourself and go out, create a life that you want to live. Bye for now.